close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath in. Let it out. Imagine you are standing on the deck of a sturdy wooden ship. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of salt and ancient ice. We are leaving the world behind. The noise, the lights, the rush of the everyday. We are sailing north into the vast indigo embrace of the Arctic Ocean. Our destination is a place few will ever see with their own eyes. It is a lonely finger of volcanic rock and ice, situated at 71 degrees north. It sits in the Jan Mayen fracture zone, a place where the Earth's crust breathes and shifts in the deep dark of the sea. As the ship rocks gently, feel your body become heavy. The rhythm of the water is your rhythm. We are moving toward Jan Mayen, a land of fog, fire, and absolute silence. Jan Mayen is a small island, only 55 kilometers long, but it carries a weight far beyond its size. Imagine it shaped like a giant hourglass, or perhaps a spoon, resting on the surface of the North Atlantic. In the northeast lies Nordjan. This is the head of the island, a massive, circular domain dominated by a giant. In the southwest is Sorjan, a narrower, lower stretch of hills and craters. Connecting them is a thin ribbon of land called the Isthmus, only 2.5 kilometers wide. As we approach the shore, the first thing you notice is the colour. There are no bright greens here. The beaches are made of black volcanic sand, as dark as obsidian, smoothed by thousands of years of cold surf. Huge pieces of driftwood, bleached white like bone, lay scattered along the tide line. Trees that have travelled all the way from the forests of Siberia, carried by the currents to rest on this lonely shore. Listen to the water hitting the black sand. Shh, shh. A slow, rhythmic pulse. Look up. Looming over the northern half of the island is Berenberg. It is the northernmost active volcano on Earth. It rises 2,277 metres straight out of the ocean. Its name is Dutch for Bear Mountain, named by the whalers who once saw polar bears wandering its lower slopes. Berenberg is a stratovolcano, perfectly symmetrical, its peak often hidden by a crown of thick white clouds. It is a mountain of contradictions, made of fire but draped in ice. 20 different glaciers crawl down its flanks like slow-moving rivers of glass. Some of these glaciers reach all the way to the sea, where they meet the salt water in a quiet, frozen embrace. The volcano is not dead. It is merely sleeping. Its last great breath was in 1985, when it sent plumes of ash into the grey sky. But tonight, it is still. The ice is thick. The crater at the top is a kilometre wide, filled with a permanent field of snow. Imagine standing at the rim, looking down into that white silence, while the Arctic wind whispers over the edge. Jan Mayen is an island of shadows. Because it sits where the warm currents of the Atlantic meet the freezing waters of the Arctic, it is almost always wrapped in a blanket of fog. This fog is soft and heavy, mutes the world. It clings to the volcanic cliffs and softens the jagged edges of the lava fields. On the rare days when the fog lifts, the light is unlike anything else on Earth. The summer, the sun due at set. It circles the horizon, casting a long golden blue glow that lasts for 24 hours. The winter, the sun disappears entirely. The island is plunged into a polar night. But even in the dark, there is light. The aurora borealis dances over Berenberg. Curtains of green, violet, and pale crimson ripple through the stars, reflecting off the glaciers. Imagine lying on the black sand, looking up at the lights, feeling the immense cold peace of. Man has tried to leave his mark here, but the island always reclaims its own. In 1614, Dutch whalers arrived. They built stations on the western coast, with brick furnaces to boil whale oil. For a few decades, Jan Mayen was a place of industry and noise. Over 1,000 men lived here in the summers, their shouts echoing against the cliffs. But by 1642, the whales were gone, and the men left. The wooden houses rotted. The brick ovens crumbled. Today, all that remains are a few scattered stones and the memories held in the permafrost. Later, in 1882, an Austrian expedition spent a full year here for the first International Polar Year. They hunkered down in a small wooden station, mapping the island while the storms raged outside. They lived in the silence, recording the wind and the stars. Norway eventually claimed the island in 1929. During the Second World War, a small group of Norwegians stayed here, operating a secret weather station to help the Allied convoys. They were the garrison of Jan Mayen, a handful of men standing against the elements on the edge of ocean. Today, Jan Mayen has no permanent residence, but it is not entirely empty. On the southern part of the island sits Olonkinbien, the only settlement. It is home to about 18 people at a time, meteorologists and technicians who keep the station running. Life in Olonkinbien is slow and disciplined. There are no shops, no trees, no roads to the outside world. Supplies arrive by ship or by a small plane that lands on a gravel strip when the fog allows it. The people who live here share meals, watch the weather instruments, and hike the tundra. They live in a small bubble of warmth, surrounded by thousands of miles of cold ocean. Imagine the comfort of a warm cup of coffee in the station lounge, looking out the window as a storm rattles the glass. Inside, it is safe. Inside, it is warm. While humans are few, the island belongs to the birds. Hundreds of thousands of seabirds make their homes on the sheer volcanic cliffs. Fulmars, guillemots, and the colourful Atlantic puffins. They wheel through the air in great, silent clouds, nesting in the nooks of the rock. The water, the seals play. Hooded seals and harp seals lounge on the ice floes that drift down from the north in the spring. Sometimes, a minke whale or a humpback will break the surface of the dark water, their breath a mist in the cold air. But now the birds are settling into their nests. The seals are drifting on the ice. The island is wrapping itself back into the fog. The fire of the volcano is deep underground, and the ice of the glaciers is still. You are back on your ship, the rhythm of the waves rocking you deeper and deeper into sleep. Jan Mayen is fading into the distance, a silent sentinel in the Arctic night. You are safe. You are warm. You are at peace.